Yep, they're unpopular. They're not mean to be disrespectful, but they're unpopular. These are just my thoughts on fighters within the world of boxing. Welcome to BWTM Sports Gaming. Glad you could join us. If you haven't already, do consider hitting the subscribe button, hitting the like button, and sharing the video. Here we go. Joshua Buatsi. I think anybody who's been on BWTM Sports Gaming, and I've done my live shows, people have asked the question, what do you think of Joshua Buatsi? And I called it out very early. I think you fought a guy called Ford. And this guy was from America. Everyone's talking about Joshua Buatsi. He's one of the best fighters in the world. He had the Olympic thing and he was this and he's that. And I see this guy, Ford, I think his name is Ford. And he's catching Buatsi with overhand rights, and Buatsi's not making the adjustments. This guy's tagging Buatsi over and over again. I think it's Ford, over and over again with right hands. This is pretty early in his career, right? I think he may have been British champion. I'm thinking, if this guy can't adapt, if this guy's getting tagged with right hands consecutively and not making adjustments, he's going to have a problem moving up European and world level. And again, other fights, subsequent fights, Buatsi getting caught with a right hand over and over and over again. I mean, it's just this guy, is he actually improving? Or is this just the finished article we're looking at here with constant hype? The Craig Richards fight, another fight where I didn't expect Buatsi to be like brilliant in, because I thought he'd go life and death with Craig Richards. He did. Then he fought Dan Aziz. Again, another fight where he looked okay, but he didn't look like Buatsi has never put on a performance that made me think, damn, the top light heavyweights need to worry about this guy. European title level maybe, but elite level, like, you tell me what performance you can look at and tell me that David Benavidez will look at you and go, ooh, or Callum Smith will look at you and go, ooh, or let me think, Bivol would look at you and go, ooh, or Beterbiev would go, ooh. There's nothing out there about Buatsi. It's what I call has always been work. His performances have always been workman-like. And I have people come on the channel, rant and rave, I'm a Buatsi hater, I'm a this or that. Okay, so I give him a chance. He goes to America. So, we know Buatsi he was a spiteful puncher, good to the body. Good when he puts punches together, Buatsi, he can be very good. But I don't know. He just seems to be kind of pedestrian. He seems to have this one and a half gears, and that's it. And he's still getting caught with right hands on top. And then he had this fight against Zach Parker. When, as a coach, as a professional coach of over 25 years in a different sport, I want to see progression. If I've been with you, just use a cricketing example. If I have you in week 1 and you don't know how to hold a cricket bat, by week 6, I expect you to be able to hold a cricket bat and be able to play a couple of shots. You should at least be able to hold a bat and know how to play 1 or 2 shots. Now you tell me, since Virgil Hunter's taken over of Buatsi's career, where the progression has been. Oh, he might be slightly defensively a little better, but he doesn't. He just seems to either be in a shell. And the Callum Smith fight, it seems like it took Buatsi's soul from him. Truth be told, are you honestly gonna look at me in the eye, dead in the eye, and say to me, yeah, that Buatsi who just fought Zach Parker is gonna step in there against David Benavidez and win the world title? Is that Buatsi gonna step in the ring against a Bivol? Is that Buatsi gonna go in the ring and listen? Buatsi, I think, is gonna have a problem if you even stepped up and fought Lyndon Arthur. He'd have a problem. You'd have a problem against Anthony Yard, because Yard can catch. That's a fight. That's a winnable fight for Yard, because Yard hits with the right hand, and Buatsi's open to get hit with it. Be a great fight. I have to give Yard Buatsi's credit. At least he's fought guys at British and European level. He's fought Dan Aziz. He's fought Craig Richards. He's fought Callum Smith. He's been in those matchups. So we can give him credit for that. But is Buatsi a world beater? No, he's not. He's not. And with Virgil Hunter, lovely guy. Met him. Beautiful. But Hunter's a thinker. Hunter's a guy that you go to when when you've been badly knocked out and you're trying to rehabilitate your career. But Virgil Hunter was good for Andre Ward because Andre Ward could think on his own independently and make adjustments, and Hunter would just be able to know what button to push within Ward to get Ward to respond accordingly. That's different with Buatsi. And the stuff he's given Buatsi to do, I think is not making Buatsi go forward, is making Buatsi go backwards. How much are we going to talk about Buatsi in his Olympic career? God, how old is this guy now? And how many fights has Buatsi had at British and European level? Why is it when this guy gets a world title shot or close to a world title shot, he's pulling out of fights or he's gone missing? I don't understand. I don't understand. I've always said I don't think Buatsi is good enough. And maybe he needs to go to a different trainer. Maybe he should go to Buddy McGirt, right? Maybe he should work with Buddy McGirt. Because I don't know. But that style is not cutting it. That style is not elite level. I'm sorry. It might have been elite level in the amateurs and for the Olympics. It's not elite in the pro game. I'm sorry. It's not. Because if it was elite, we would have seen it already. You can't have 5, 6, 7 consecutive fights against good fight, and you try and come back and tell me, oh yeah, he's ready for this level. He's not. So I think he's got to change his trainer. Either he changes his trainer for at least Virgil Hunter, 1, or 2. I mean, his expression, you can't turn shit into gold. I'm not saying Buatsi's shit. It's like an analogy. In other words, it's like an example. It is what it is. It's like Buatsi, we just have to take him for face value for what he is. He's not going to get under any better under the current regime with Virgil Hunter. He just isn't. He may have had an off night, but did he have an off night against Dan Aziz? Did he have an off night against Zach Barker? Did he have an off night against Callum Smith? At times, Callum Smith was punching up, and it was only Buatsi's heart and his spirit that kept him up, honestly. But I think in that fight against Callum Smith, whatever self-belief and confidence that Joshua Buatsi had was broken by Callum Smith. And then some guys, that when you break their spirit like that, they don't come back the same way. Look at Prince Naseem Hamed. When Prince Naseem Hamed got beat by Barrera, he was never the same fighter after that. And then he came back and had a fight and that was it. Some guys can get knocked spark out, i.e. Manny Pacquiao, and come back and do great things. Lennox Lewis got knocked out by Oliver McCall, still came back and became world champion. Got knocked out by Rackman, still came back and became champion. There's some guys who are like that, and there's some guys that when they get broken like that, or they get knocked out, or they get beat up, or they lose a fight, they can't come back. They're not the same fighter. They're all of invincibility. They can't look themselves in the mirror and say, you know what, I'm no longer a beaten fighter. There's a man out there who's beaten me. There's a man out there that's conquered me. And some people, when that happens, they look themselves in the mirror and they go, you know, and you look at Buatsi, his last fight, his hair was unkept. You look at Buatsi normally, when he goes into a fight, he shaves himself, he looks unkept before, and I understand the whole training regime, and then when he goes to the fight, then he shaves his beard and he cleans up and he looks a different fighter. This last fight, his hair was unkept and he kept the beard, and I'm thinking to myself, why did you keep the beard? Did you keep the beard because it now shows you're not the fighter you once were? I look at stuff like that in a fighter, I really do. It's psychological. Some guys go, right, this is who I am when I'm on the street, or this is the guy I am before I get in the ring, and then once I get in, I'm got my alter ego, so when I get in the ring, I'm a different guy from the guy that's on the street, you know? And that works for fighters, but if that alter ego is a point where you get beat and that alter ego gets completely X'd out, then you're a bit lost. And it's why when we saw Buatsi the other day, the way he looked, I might be looking at things too deeply. But ultimately, something's got to change. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Unpopular opinion. I know it's unpopular, but I'm speaking it to hear what people think. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, and leave your comments. This is BWTM Sports Gaming, and we are out.